Pardon my voice, I'm a little sick. Today I'll be discussing Module 15, Chapter 21, Critical Theory of Communication in Organizations. Chapter 21 speaks about discursive closure, what I'll be going in depth about. It speaks about discursive closure through some systematically distorted communication. According to the text, systematically distorted communication is described as operating outside of the employee's awareness, a form of disclosure that restricts what can be said or even considered. Unlike strategic control, which is open and deliberate, systematically distorted communication operates under the radar. Stanley Deese emphasizes that the workers deceive themselves because they are interacting freely when in reality only certain options are available. Systematically distorted communication requires suppression of potential conflict. This process, which Deese calls discursive closure, occurs in a variety of ways. A group may discourage members from talking about certain subjects, or organization may allow them the discussion topic, such as gender linked classification or pay differences, but discount its importance in the workplace or quickly change their attention or divert their attention to other issues. These suggest that the force of an organizational practice is strongest when no one even thinks about it. Not all conversations at work consist of purely work-related topics. It is important to know what is acceptable to say in the workplace and what is not acceptable to say in the workplace. Recently, it has become more frequent that employers are cutting ties with their employees because of social media and what was said on social media by the employees themselves. Simply wearing a work shirt or uniform after work or on the clock or off the clock and stating your opinion about something that doesn't relate to how the company may want to be viewed can cost you your job. In recent news of senators, congressmen, congresswomen who, or even TV personalities who take a certain stance or certain things can cost them a job. Whether their beliefs are wrong or right is for no one to say, but if it doesn't go with what the company values are, then they may be terminated or even suspended from their job. It's up to the company at that point. For example, one of my first jobs was at Polo Ralph Lauren. After working there for a few years, I received several pay raises. When new employees or potential employees asked how much I was making in a week or a month, it was hard to say what I was actually making to avoid conflict. Towards the end of my tenure at Polo, I was making $13.50 an hour, and the starting salary or wage an hour was about $7.50 an hour. That's a big discrepancy in pay from an employee starting with the company to an employee in my position. Although I was not specifically told by my managers to discuss my pay with others, I felt me doing so would cause conflict and would have consequences. So, with that being said, I never told anybody how much I was actually making at Ralph Lauren. I just avoided that conversation in whole. A few years later, I found myself in my current position at BMW, where I have also received several raises. A coworker of mine was telling me that he was not making enough money due to his school hours. At BMW, we get paid weekly, so he threw out a number of what his general check would look like with the hours that he was working, and I told him I work pretty much the same hours as he does, and I told him what I was making on my check. He soon realized that I was one of the higher paid associates in the position, and this conversation later caused problems when he went to go ask for a raise from our managers. Luckily for me, he did not mention that he found out from me. He's more of just demanding a raise, but that right there caused a problem and caused tension between us because he felt like he was being lied to, or that he's being deceived and that everybody was making the same amount. In reality, we weren't. Unknowingly, I kind of gave it away, and like I said, luckily for me, he didn't mention that he found out from me, but that could have cost me my job or got me in trouble. Um, discursive closure can be very important in an organization to avoid like consequences or conflicts like the one I just mentioned. In the text, Dietz suggests that the force of organizational practice is strongest when no one even thinks about it, and I feel like that statement is very true because of the conversation I had to change my coworker almost cost me my job. So I feel like it is important and it goes without being noticed. So companies are kind of getting away with it and it's working to their benefit.